All right, they're telling us we're good for Eddie Lack. Clear the track. Here comes Lack. Let's head down to Phoenix now. Eddie joining us here on day 2 of the NHL draft. How you doing, Eddie? How are things in the Zona?
Good. We had a little technical difficulties, but I'm happy I'm on. How are you guys?
We're very happy, too. By the way, I torture myself on my weather app. I have Phoenix's weather on my daily screen. I saw it was 39 degrees Celsius there yesterday, and people are loving it. How are you surviving it?
Good. I mean, now we got through like the hot season. I mean, it seems weird to say that 39 is not hot season, right? But the mornings are a little bit cooler and the night is a little bit cooler. So now we pretty much have like 9 months of perfect weather. So yeah, it's awesome.
I love it. Love to hear it. So were you able to follow the NHL draft? How's the coverage there in the Valley for round 1?
I had to play a stream with the New Jersey Devil yesterday, so I mostly just watched it on Twitter, and yeah, I mean, it was great. It was some Swedes that went in like the early rounds and everything that always make me happy.
Yeah, there were a lot of Swedes go. I thought the OHL particularly dominated last night, but I think the big one I wanted to ask you was Henrik Lundqvist. You called it that his time in New York was going to be done, but he's not done playing. And the rumor is now he's going to the Capitals. Have you talked to King Henrik? What's he saying?
I have not talked to King Henrik. He is still not answering my text. I don't know, it might be bad reception or something. No, I'm hoping he will go to Colorado. That is like my guess. I think that they have like the greatest chance of winning when they get him.
Well, here's the question. I saw you joking with one of our viewers that you were never a starter in your career. Henrik's never been anything but a starter. How's he, how would he feel about sharing the crease at best or being a backup at this point in his career?
So I think like that he would be really good in like a 1A, 1B role. And then once like the playoffs rolls around, I mean, we all know what a competitor he is, and we all know like what he can bring to the table come playoffs time and everything. So I really think that him and like Grubauer together could be like a really, really good tandem.
You mentioned doing the thing with the Devils. What's your thoughts on that franchise? I mean, who do you stay the closest to? Like I saw in Carolina, the Hurricanes PA announcer was tweeting, "Eddie, they love you everywhere you went." What's the team that you gravitate to the most as alum, or is it equal?
So I think if I have to pick one, I'd probably pick Vancouver. Like that's kind of where I play my best hockey and where I really enjoyed it the most. But I mean, all teams that I played for, I always got like extremely well treated wherever I went, and I mean, my least favorite is probably Calgary because I only spent like 2 or 3 months there, right? But yeah, I mean, I loved it wherever I went, really.
We lost the sound for a second. I hope we still have them. But Eddie, there we go, you're back. How do you feel about this goaltender carousel or merry-go-round right now? Because they're talking about Jakob Markstrom maybe not signing with Vancouver and that Edmonton might be in play with him. This seems a little nuts to me, this upcoming free agency in the National Hockey League. Or is it just part of the business and we need to just sit back and watch?
The goaltending free agency is just nuts right now. I mean, if I were Vancouver, I mean, of course I would re-sign my best player for the past 2 or 3 years. I mean, Markey has just shown so much growth and like really shown that he can play like a ton of games and play at a really high level, right? So if I were Vancouver, I would try to work something out, but I mean, if that doesn't work out, I'm sure there's plenty of teams that want his services.
It's just odd, though, isn't it? I mean, Braden Holtby wins the Stanley Cup with Washington, and now they say his time is done there. Henrik's seeing the same thing with the New York Rangers. I guess, do you get to a certain age and just expect that this is going to happen in the National Hockey League and that it doesn't end well for too many guys? Look what's going on in Vegas, for goodness sakes, with Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, again, it doesn't make sense.
Goalies are just being like expendable right now, I feel like, and I don't know why, because like, I mean, obviously I'm going to say this, but I do feel like goaltending is like the most important position you have, right? And that's one that you can't afford to mess up with. So it's a weird time right now, but I do feel like we've seen so many of these young goalies coming up and doing it right and playing the game the right way and like playing really well. So I do feel like teams feel like they can get away with the goalie on like the lower end of a cap hit, right? Instead of paying the 6 or 7 million, teams do feel like they can get away with paying 2 goalies $2 million each and get like the same kind of goaltending, which I don't really agree with, but yeah, that's how teams see it now, I think.
I'm with you. They're the most important position. They should be paid the most, but I just get pummeled every time that I say that. So lastly, Eddie Lack, before we go, we did have Don Cherry on, and I did ask him to say Kevin Bieksa, and he said Kevin Bieksa, and he laughed. I said hi to him for you. Can you talk about that joke? Because I didn't really get it until you told me to say it, and then I realized he can't say it.
Yeah, so when Don had like the show before our games and everything, like we always watch it before warm-ups and everything, and man, like every single time when he was supposed to say Kevin's last name, it was always Bieksa, and like the whole locker room just like erupted, right? Like I mean, Kevin was not a rookie. He's been in the league for like 10 years at that point, right? And like he still couldn't say his name. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, well, and on a Canadian team and a good player, went to the Stanley Cup final, and Grapes, yeah, which, by the way, Grapes isn't apologizing for. He didn't even realize what was so funny about it. And lastly, Eddie, how's the real estate market, the luxury real estate market in the Valley? I mean, it's robust here, despite the pandemic. How is it where you're at?
It is rolling. I mean, we're seeing so many people moving here from like California and New York and Chicago. It feels like a lot of people are tired of like taxes and the politics in Cali. So we see about like 200 people a day moving here just from California. So yeah, it's crazy right now, but crazy fun. So
good for you. I can tell how excited you are. Where can people follow you on your social media, get a hold of you if they're looking for a home in the Valley of the Sun?
Yeah, so I'm at Eddie Lack on Twitter, at Eddie Lack 31 on Instagram, and if you want to email me, I'm at Eddie Eddie at KennethJamesRealty.com. So yeah, shoot me a message.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right, Eddie. Appreciate the time. Stay safe, and we'll chat with you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
All right. The great Eddie Lack joining us from Phoenix today. And I got to tell you, that is a reality show waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Luxury real estate, they're all the best Netflix shows.
Selling the Valley.
Right. Throwing in a former NHL goalie, follow him around. I'll volunteer to do it. I love Phoenix so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's the greatest.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.